Hey everyone, my name's Amadeus, and as belated as this is an introduction video for Psychedelics New Zealand. I'm the man behind Psychedelics New Zealand. As many of you know, we've already had a number of meetups this year, and they've been very good. Met a number of really wonderful people, and made a number of good friends, and I hope to make a whole lot more. Hopefully a lot of you reach out. So, pretty much Psychedelics New Zealand is well, eventually it'll be what we would call an organization, but for the moment it's what we would just call a community. Just sort of a community for people to get together and talk about psychedelic interests, whether that's therapy, pharmacology, botany, psychology, anthropology, religious studies, any of these things. Um, where people can come and talk and present and be interactive. And then on the other side of the fence, I hope to be diligent in keeping the community updated on the psychedelic happenings in the world. Not just in New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand is actually a relatively important place. We've been hyped up quite a bit for our drug policies in the last couple of years, and we have ibogaine trials going on and things like that, which is really important. But I also hope to have a lot of information from the international community as well. A little background about myself, just so you can so you're not just sort of saying, who is this guy? Um, Again, my name is Amadeus Diamond, if you can believe it. Amadeus is my middle name, though, just to qualify that one. I was born in England. I'm 24 years old. I actually turned 24 about 2 days ago. I was born in England in 1990. Then I moved here to New Zealand when I was 5. I'm half Kiwi and half Irish. And I had a pretty troubled childhood and teenage years and all of that. And then I came out of that and had some pretty hairy experiences, and that really did shape who I was a lot for a long time, and I suffered from that, and I had a lot of residual emotional and intellectual blockages and boundaries and stuff surrounding that. And through kind of a bunch of coincidences, I actually ended up finding out about the real meat of the psychedelic matter, which is that there is actually these legitimate therapies and these legitimate histories and sort of ontological questions that can be posed in the arena of psychedelic experiences. I was actually put onto that through Graham Hancock, who I had already met a number of months before that in Egypt, and conducted an interview with him where I had touched on the subjects because I knew that he had written Supernatural, but I had at the time only glanced through it. I had not read the entire book, and I did, and that completely changed my outlook on the entire way that I looked at the drugs. And so I went and devoured, I must have read something like 40 or 50 books in the next 6 months, something like that, specifically to do with psychedelics. It's not all I read, but specifically to do with psychedelics. Then I found myself at the Origins of Consciousness tour in Melbourne, which was in 2012. That was in late 2012 in October. And there I actually made friends with Mitch Schultz, who was the producer and director behind the Spirit Molecule film, and Dennis McKenna, who, as all of you probably know, is Terence McKenna's younger brother. He's he's a PhD in his own right. He's an absolutely wonderful man and a great scientist, and I give great thanks to him for the graciousness he's shown me. And so I've had the unique privilege of being able to find myself in a country that has no real psychedelic community to speak of, and be in a position where I actually have these platforms that I can use to gather information and to put out information and that sort of thing. So that's more or less where I come from with this in terms of where I've been. Where I'd like to go is, obviously, as I've made it quite clear, that the therapy side of things is really important to me. I think that has been one of the most important aspects that I've actually seen tangibly in my own life. I've watched a number of people go through psychedelic experiences and ameliorate some incredibly deep and, in some cases, hitherto unknown emotional and intellectual blockages, and it's been really, really beautiful to see. It's really moving when somebody goes through an experience like that and comes out and can tell you, I've healed, and I've been through this step and this step and this step, and I've been able to let go of such and such a negative energy. It's really a beautiful thing to see, and so that's really important to me. But also, I am supportive. I don't mean to put to the wayside. It's just that I think it kind of speaks for itself as the recreational side of psychedelics, where I think that I also absolutely support the use of psychedelics for personal spiritual exploration, and even if you're just curious to see what it is, and as long as you're responsible about it, you do some research, you have a sitter, you make sure you're healthy, um, make sure you absolutely know what you're taking, all of these things. I'm absolutely supportive of that as well. It's just that, again, that sort of speaks for itself. It doesn't really need any defense. So my hope is to be part of that conversation worldwide. I hope to go as somewhat of a delegate from New Zealand to events worldwide, and to speak to people regularly on various topics to do with psychedelics. That keeps me in the loop with the various goings on in the wider communities, in the US and the UK, and in places like Mexico and Uruguay, where we have different laws, and we can learn from maybe what they're doing and the results that they're getting as well. So possibly politically, but also possibly non-politically. I'm really not sure. In a couple of weeks I'm going to Wellington, and I'm basically going to sort of dip my toes in the political end of the pool and see what my take on that is, and see if I think that that's a good way to go forward. I've been considering it recently, and it looks like it might be. So we have a number of upcoming pieces of news, which I'll do another video later today addressing those specifically. But just so you know, we do have a number of things coming up that should be very exciting, and so I hope you will tune in, and I hope you will follow the Facebook page, which I will put a link to in the description of this video, and stay safe. And if you have any questions, absolutely send them in to either the Facebook page or this YouTube channel. Absolutely send them in. I'll answer them. It may take me a little while, and I'm very sorry about that. I can be busy, and I work weird hours as well. So, but I'll do my absolute best, and stay safe, take care, and hopefully I'll get to know a lot of you soon.